So, welcome to the podcast, Barbara, or what was Basia?
Basia.
Yeah,
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so you're a data solutions architect.
Yes, whatever that means. We're still figuring this out.
Yeah, that was my first question.
So, do you know what cloud solution architect is?
Yeah.
Kind of, right?
Yeah.
So that's the person that helps you with your architecture in the cloud and advises you how to, plumb all the stuff together, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's kind of like this, but in the focus, I am focusing more on a data product. And because I work for Microsoft, those are Azure data products.
Makes sense.
So stuff like HD Insight, Azure storage, databases, mostly PAAS, not IAAS.
Yeah.
So mostly the platform as a service or software as a service, not the infrastructure as a service.
Yeah.
Although if you're talking about your installation of SQL Server or Postgres or any other database, you could do it on some VMs.
Yeah.
Then yes, also in those situations, data solutions architect coming in.
So we have this type of problem with data. How should we handle our stuff? Is that the kind of question that comes to you with?
Exactly. Yeah. So you have stuff connected with analytics or where to store your data, which storage to choose, what decisions you need to make when you're doing it, how to, again, plumb it all together, how to sometimes put it together with machine learning stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there is an Azure product called Azure Machine Learning. So
there was a presentation about it. I think something about Azure and machine learning. I didn't have time to catch it. I didn't have time to catch your presentation either, unfortunately.
I think they were recording it. So
yeah. I'm going to catch everything later.
This time.
Big playlist. So your talk was about some kind of data analytics on Github data or something like that?
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, it was about analyzing. Yes, but I wouldn't say it was about massive or serious data analysis.
Okay.
Because I was trying to figure out which languages are the most popular.
Oh, it's always interesting.
It's very interesting. So all those stuff always go very, very viral. If someone is putting all those statistics, we're like, this is my favorite language. That's very high. So this is interesting as a domain, but when you look at the data and how can you process it, you basically are counting, right?
Oh yeah. There's just adding up numbers.
Yes,
makes sense now that you put it that way.
So it is analysis, of course, because you need to gather data, you need to put them somehow together. Yeah. But imagine you have all of this in some kind of a relational database. Yeah. You do select, you do some group by, and
then you're done. So is there any particular types or domains of problems you find especially interesting?
Well, I work with retail and distribution clients. Oh. So this is always interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly because, whenever you're new to the domain, you need to spend a lot of time figuring out what's it all about.
Yeah, there's so much to learn.
Yeah, so for example, if you're new to finances and you end up working with clients from finances, so many stuff to learn, and it's really hard.
Yeah, sure.
It's similar with distribution and retail, but we all know how it works somehow because we all did
sort of an image of it. Yeah, on the surface it should look like this.
Yeah, so we know something. It was for me very easy to jump in. Of course, I'm learning a lot of stuff in the process, but the area, the domain is very, very interesting.
Yeah. So you can do interesting data analysis there, or deeper stuff.
So there are different stuff you could analyze. You could sometimes not imagine, but one of the most interesting I encountered was you as a retailer, you could have some big warehouses, and you need to forecast if all those shops that are taking stuff from those warehouses are not going to waste your storage. So you're forecasting the product's distribution. This was really, really cool because you then realize, all right, we can order stuff in advance, but there is no guarantee people will buy those stuff.
No.
So how can we predict for us not to waste money? Right?
Yeah, there's so much like that. I visited.
That was one of my recent the most interesting.
Yeah, and I've seen little glimpses of that. I visited Coca-Cola in Sweden once, and they showed their big storage rooms, and said cola bottles as far as you can see, and this is like 2 days of consumption or something. We don't want to have more than that.
Yeah, so with like food and nutrition products, you have expiration dates.
Oh yes.
And when you think, for example, like technology things. Some stuff you can just store for years.
Yeah.
With technology, not so much.
No,
because there will be another thing coming up, version, next version, and no one will buy your storage if you have previous ones.
So that's the kind of stuff you analyze. Yeah. So you take lots of data from like retailers and.
Yeah. Of course, it's not that easy because
I would bet it's not.
Because those data are the way they make money. So it's not that easy for companies to just give you data.
No.
A lot of work is to prepare the data or helping clients to prepare the data so we could actually do something with them. So there shouldn't be any like users' data.
No, it should all be
numbers
anonymized.
Or anonymized, but giving you enough information so you can make an actionable statistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't need a phone number for the clients, but probably an information of the gender or an age.
Yeah,
right?
just a few things, and you're not allowed to connect them to anything.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have those data. I mean, those data that you think you could make some forecasts. I'm saying, like age or gender. So probably gender is easier to figure out sometimes when you have some users' activities.
You can make some guesses.
Yeah, but if you have some missing data, this is also the challenging part when you're dealing with them.
Yeah. So what do you do in those cases? Do you try to can you sometimes get data from other sources, or is it always
that's one thing. You can try to get data from other sources, but that's not easy and also time consuming. Or you can just take a subset of your data, and then you need to go really, really into maths and statistics to do it in a scientific way, not just, those are just the data I have, so I'll just play with them.
Exactly, let's just go.
So then you need to really, really take it seriously so you make proper predictions.
Yeah, sounds like one of those areas of programming or software development where maths actually are a really big part.
That's true. So when you're thinking, for example, with elections, I was always wondering how do they do those predictions when they ask 1 of 10 people at the doors when they're leaving who are they voting for. They're pretty accurate. And
they are,
yeah, but I didn't know how they are doing it. So there are actual mathematical models that allows you to do it quite accurately, but of course there are some errors and they are not exact.
No, it can never be.
But it is as scientific as it can be, of course.
Yeah, and that's interesting because they don't really talk about that. They just say we asked this many people.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, how good can it possibly be?
Yeah, and you need to do it. And you need to do it in a way that you get into account variety of let's say attributes. So it's not just every 10 person. And it's not just 10% of people, because then you just do it in first 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's that problem they talk about with university studies where university students are supposed to be the random sampling of people.
So very interesting with Github was the latest analysis they did about gender and how women are supposed to be better coders.
I heard a little bit about it.
Yeah, but only if they reveal their gender. If they don't. So, and I still cannot get my head around this. I read a few articles, but I don't really know the math behind this.
No.
Some numbers were like 4 million of GitHub users. They only found out about genders of 1 million, 1.5 million around, and then they analyzed women and men contributions, but women contributions weren't that many. So
okay. So you don't really have that much data to go by.
So it was like I think it was around 200,000 of women contributions, and the rest was men. So I don't know if those are valid statistics, but there are people that know what they were doing, so probably they are. It's just, for me, in my head...
Yeah, if you don't know all the details, you can't be sure, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like, can I trust those conclusions?
Yeah, and someone probably wants to make like a statement or a nice headline or something.
So I'm not saying that's not true.
No, but
I don't know.
No, we don't know the full story.
Yeah, but that was a very, very interesting concept in terms of data. Even not taking into consideration those gender stuff, but only those numbers and sampling techniques.
Yeah. What was this research done by Github themselves?
I don't think so.
No, but they released the data and then someone else...
GitHub releases data by APIs, different APIs. You can have search, you can have API. There are also torrents for GitHub data. So those people took those data from GitHub torrent. And the missing like gender and stuff they took from some social networks, from GitHub itself.
Oh, like cross-referencing?
Yes, because sometimes you can get the email of the person, and it's really not that hard, because people are revealing their genders on social media. So if the profile is public, it's not any violation to get those information.
No, it's probably not something that people think about, really. It's like, oh, whoops, I have the same email address. You can just cross-reference me in 2 steps, and then you have...
And there are so many of those, linked authorization techniques.
Oh, yeah.
So we are giving up a lot of our data for free. I just stopped caring because it just gives me a headache. But there are people with strong opinions how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where the opinions come from, even if I don't worry that much myself. I mean, it's worth thinking about when you do something possibly sensitive, I guess.
So it was, at the beginning almost of the social media, and still happening. Naked pictures, and people didn't really thinking what they are doing.
No, and
it all goes public.
Oh yeah,
you
it's
might
all
really
saved somewhere.
it later. But also like people revealing the pictures of their kids.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
I have lots of friends that are just not doing it ever, never ever.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
too.
Today, you think that's really, really sensible.
Yeah, and then on the other side, there are also people who create like Facebook accounts for their kids the day they're born and start putting up pictures. And would I like that if my parents had done that when I was?
Well, probably those kids won't think of it as a bad thing, because
maybe
everyone
not.
is doing
it.
So they would be raised in a world like this.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, my point is we're giving up a lot of data.
Yeah, all the time.
Yes, and there are even applications that are making use of it. I don't know if you've heard, like, there is a webpage called howold.net. So people are submitting pictures, and some AI is trying to figure out how old are you. So I'm laughing that this is like a question every woman wants to
all the time.
How old do I look?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it makes me think of the...
I love this page, by the way.
Yeah, it's always fun. But
people are just giving pictures.
Yeah, lots of pictures.
So you just... and like with Facebook, you could think, well, okay, it is public, but people need to just like break in and get those data or talk to Facebook. With howold.net, you're just giving your picture. Freely. So this was a Microsoft product.
I didn't know that.
Someone just wanted to do AI project, and the page went very viral. So it is used to AI to actually learn, not to do something else with those pictures. But there are other products, like I think I've heard lately about some application in Russia that is just recognizing strangers in a crowd. And we're just giving up those information. And it's really, really, really concerning.
I mean, and as soon as something like that goes viral, everyone's just sending the link around and no one's looking at who's behind it. I mean, I didn't know Microsoft was behind How Old. but I should probably have looked it up before people started sending it around. Yeah. Has being into data science made you think different about these things?
It is. It really is. One thing is that I actually know it's not some weird person looking for my data. So this is okay. I realize it's not like someone really wants to stalk me and know my data. Another thing is all those conclusions from AI, from machine learning, from data are presented to people. Maybe they don't look at me, as an individual.
No, that's true.
But
you're part of the sample.
I think Aral Balkan gave a proper example. So imagine like a post, like normal, not email, just letters that you're writing. And there is this service. They just put a person somewhere there, or even a machine that is just going through your letters, just to get to know you better, just to make your life easier.
Yeah, it feels so good.
Offer you a better product, so just like personalized. So from that perspective, not so much.
No.
But on the other hand, I know there is no person sitting there.
No.
In my emails. It's a machine.
It
is different, and it's not, depending on...
It's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
but still, I mean...
Yeah.
And usually there's no malice behind it. I mean, it's easy to take it a step too far, but...
That's one thing. Another thing, some people are saying there is a lot of malice, because when it all goes to money... there is no ethics and morality.
No, that's true. We're just doing it for this ad part. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday after yesterday's keynote as well, where they demoed that soda machine that tried to guess like gender and age and race, and like this can go way too
wrong,
far,
right?
way wrong. And then the government comes knocking and like, hey, we want to stream all your data to us now. And then it goes kind of scary.
Yeah, but I think the world is just changing. We don't know which way it will go.
No.
But if it goes some way, another generation will just be used to it and won't think of this very weird. Like, we don't think Facebook is weird most of the times.
No, exactly.
But if you would say something like this 20 years ago to someone, even to yourself, it's like, so people actually...
all their family photos.
Everything what they feel every day.
Yeah.
You would think like, well, this is just needy.
Yeah.
You just want to put a lot of attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now everyone is doing it, and we don't even think of it.
No, it just happens.
It's just normal.
Yeah, it just keeps going on. Yeah. So when it comes to like more of the data science community, is there a lot of talk about the ethics around handling all this data?
So not so much of the ethics, more about science, as I said. So when you're going deeper, it's more about, I don't want your personalized data. I just want data that will draw some conclusions. Yeah. And why is that? Because we have a lot of data, and I'm actually, with my eyes, I'm not looking at the values of those data.
No.
And there are too many of them for me to go through. That's why we have computers.
Oh yeah,
that's very quick.
Yeah.
And all I care about is, do I have all the data? Do I have missing data? What do I do with missing data? What types of the data are those?
Where are the gaps?
And what's the question? That's the first thing. What's the question? What do I try to find out? And if I have the data, the kinds of data, to actually draw those conclusions. So from the data science point of view, or from the data science perspective, no, not really. It's more about numbers. Yeah,
what we have and what we can do with it.
The possibilities, questions. Which algorithm to use, which algorithm to tweak, how to tweak it. When you're doing it, maybe before you're asking a question if that's what I'm doing is ethical, but not in terms of data, because I'm not looking at those data. There is this machine that is performing them.
So maybe the real discussion is about what you collect and how.
That's one thing, and then how do you want to use it? So if someone wants to do like cancer research and do classification, this is very noble and very ethical, and could find, personalizing adverbs not very ethical.
So
this is like a question much before, which industry you want to be.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to data, it's just pure science.
Yeah. I mean, outside of it, it's a super big discussion, I guess. But we started wondering after watching that demo, maybe there should be some kind of UN level, programmers ethical sort of laws or guidelines or something, because it's so easy to start doing stuff without considering that.
But I think it's in every industry.
Oh yes,
like when you're just a programmer, you need to decide which industry you want to be. Right?
Yeah, and it's so exciting to try and push the envelope of what you're doing too.
That's the thing. Yeah, technology is very exciting.
Oh yeah,
and it can really, really easily blind you.
Yeah, and especially when you have this data processing now, you can actually take all this stuff and do something with it and see.
Exciting.
Yeah, see what comes out the other end. Yeah, it's really interesting. So have you enjoyed the conference here so far?
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm actually very jet lagged because I spent a week in US.
Oh.
And I'm going back. But it's getting better and better. Yeah. I really enjoy it.
Getting better and better until it's time to leave.
Well, yes, I'm leaving tomorrow. Stockholm is one of my favorite cities, so I'll probably have some time to walk through the city.
Have you seen any favorite presentation that people should watch the videos for?
I think Karl-Henrik Nilsson presentation on IoT was very, very interesting.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Got to add it to my list.
It was very good. It was showing how you can start from the beginning, even like basics of electronics if you don't have it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for me it was great because I didn't understand what resistor is for.
No.
Even though I was pretty good at physics in high school, but
it's different stuff.
It's different when you can see actual thing.
Oh yeah.
Than having this on some kind of a scheme.
Yeah, it's theory versus practice. Someone shows you what you can actually do with it as well. It makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, and you can use .NET, so that's perfect.
Yeah. Because I and the other guys on our podcast, we're sort of outsiders when it comes to the .NET community.
Right.
So I was kind of curious, is there a sort of like defining style or spirit to the community around like .NET and Microsoft development? Is there some kind of like spirit or mentality or something?
I'm not sure if I understand. Can you give me, for example, like, do you know any spirit or mentality?
Yeah. Let's say when I think of Apple developers, I think of like small independent companies or individuals doing like their own little apps and sort of. There's not so much talk about like pure technologies in that case, but it's more
products.
Yeah, products and like pragmatic. Yeah, we're doing this little thing with this, and it's more about the product I'm doing than the technologies.
Right. So I think I think it's just my opinion, but but what I've noticed, .NET developers are all about finding new stuff, learning new things. But very often are closed into the Microsoft technologies. It's changing nowadays because of all this open source stuff and how you can integrate with other technologies.
Yeah, there's so much interesting stuff.
So it is changing, but I've been a .NET developer for 12 years. Yeah. And from my perspective, you always look like, yes, we're really hungry for new challenges, but usually don't go outside .NET technology. So I think I would describe it that way, and at the moment I think it's changing. Yeah. But there are jokes like I have friends that are Java developers, for them, it's a different community. Yeah, they always are making fun of me, but we are always making fun of them. Like if you want to punish someone, just make him a Java developer, and they're like, .NET developers. No. So sometimes it's serious, sometimes just jokes. Depends. Yeah.
But I guess, because I've been into Java development before, and I think maybe that community is kind of similar in that way too. Like everyone's like picking up new things, but it's usually inside the Java community.
Yeah, for years, Java community had this open source free tools thing.
That's true.
And Microsoft was this corporational, expensive product. So even if you want to teach someone programming in C# you needed to have Visual Studio. For years, it was just paid versions, or you couldn't do much with the free ones. So I think that was the conflict between those two.
That makes sense. Yeah. But now so much exciting stuff is coming out of Microsoft. I mean, even from the outside. I mean, I'm here and I'm excited about this stuff that I hardly even worked with, but so much interesting stuff happening. So I want to keep track a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of people working on stuff we wouldn't imagine. Yeah. Like Bash Shell. Like
just a thing like that.
Like Azure being cloud that people actually admiring.
And everyone's like, this is really great stuff.
And winning the contest.
Oh, yeah. And Visual Studio Code.
Visual Studio Code.
IntelliSense on Linux.
Like recently I found out there is a group of evangelists for Node.js working for Microsoft because Microsoft is really supporting Node.js.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff that Microsoft is doing at the moment to go outside of .NET.
Yeah.
.NET. Of course, .NET is a technology that was invented here.
Yeah.
But I really like the language. I really like C#. I think it's that's another thing that why I thought it made us a little bit lazy. It's just a pleasant language.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard anyone really say anything negative about C#.
Yeah. So language is just great, and of course you shouldn't use it for everything, which some people try to do.
Yeah, someone always.
But it's like with any technology.
Yeah,
there is no universal.
No, look at JavaScript. Exactly. People try to use it everywhere, all the time, which is very convenient if you write JavaScript, but it's not always perfect. So you use R for stuff. Right?
So at the moment R is one of the things I'm involved with.
Yeah.
But previously, before I work as a data solution architect, I was just trying to get into this data science, big data world. And I thought, how should I do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was crying on the shoulder of my boyfriend, like, how can I do it? How can I do it? And he was like, you're a programmer. R is a programming language. Why don't you try to do something like this? And I also wanted to find out, production near problem. Hence, Github. So that's how I used R. But nowadays, clients are using R because we have R and Azure. Now I have the feeling like everywhere. Of course, it's not true, but in many places you could use it. You could use it in Power BI. You can use it in SQL Server. And now they put it for analytics, but also for visualization. So there is our server as a service in Azure.
Oh, so it's always there for you. That's nice.
So whenever clients want to do some data stuff, there are plenty of opportunities to use R.
Yeah. So is R very different from other languages you've used?
It's completely different. It's something that you as a, let's say, Java programmer, you would find it very, very, very weird. It took me weeks to adjust to the word. Once you're there, once you have this Stockholm syndrome, sorry, Stockholm, it's quite good because it just puts you in different perspective. C# Java programmers have those like structure, program structure thinking. So you're telling the computer what to do.
Yep.
With R, it's more like you have some data, and this is what you want to achieve.
Oh, okay. So it's more
from the data perspective. And sometimes when you want to see the output, it looks like some piece of what aliens dropped to the earth to make you confused.
Alien artifact.
Yes. But so it's completely different.
Yeah.
But of course has common stuff. Like you can have variables, you can assign a value, you can have proper operators, you have some loops, etc., etc. Although you don't really use loops. Very often. It's like with MATLAB, when you use loops, it's like because you couldn't find a better way.
It's not what you should be doing.
And like with R, you can also have objects, but so far I haven't seen a proper use case to do it. It is possible.
It could happen someday.
But and I also heard of people trying to build the whole systems with R, and I wouldn't do it.
No.
For me, R is something that is for data, for machine learning, for visualization, but not to build the whole system. You could do it. There are libraries. You can do it, but you will be exhausted.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy. So what I would recommend would be just get some other technology that you know will work for building your system, whether it's like an app or a web page or API, and use R for what it's meant to be, which is data. And when I read up, it sounded like it was pretty easy to like integrate with other languages as well. If you all those languages have already adapters to just run.
Yeah, and of course, if it's on the .NET.
It's not just .NET. You have those packages in Python. You have those packages in Java. And many others, because community is growing so fast. And in R itself, you probably don't have to really define your own algorithms. It's probably someone who has already wrote it. And probably it's better to use it.
Wrote a paper about it, probably.
Exactly. And also the out-of-the-box libraries are just working. So if you want to try something out, you just use it. It takes you 3 lines of code and it does it. So I guess all the machine learning is just very easy.
So I guess when you find the right thing to use, it suddenly seems a little bit too easy, perhaps, because it was just 2 lines of...
Exactly. Sometimes it can be too easy. In terms of, you have different algorithms. And R won't tell you, for this domain, for this particular problem, you shouldn't use this algorithm. It will just do the calculations and gives you the result. So
that's very helpful.
Well, there is no real way to prohibit you from using some algorithm. If you're providing the data in a proper structure, why would the language tell you you're doing it wrong? You should know it, and that's why it's not like it will replace data scientists or people that know their stuff. It's just make the stuff easier, so you're not reinventing the wheel. So standard algorithms are there. You can probably tweak them. You can write your own, or you can see the code of people that are writing and tweak it inside.
If you really need it, you can...
Exactly. But writing something like, let's say, the basic linear regression algorithm, you don't have to, because it's already there.
Why would you?
And it's probably better than you writing it from scratch.
I'm sure. So that's really interesting. I think about covered my questions. You want to add anything else?
Well, I think we covered quite a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again for inviting me.
It was fun.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.